Could you get married to someone who is in love with someone else? My family comes from this old town. They were co-founders of the town, and because of that, there is some kind of tradition where the oldest children have to marry each other. I honestly didn't think anything about it because I thought it was a myth, until my mom brought up the town. We were going home for the summer. There was a huge surprise when we got back to town. Then she brought out her old wedding dress and brought it up against my body. I froze, my mind blank. No, I muttered. No, you can't be serious. Mom looked confused. You have to keep up with the tradition, she said. You will marry Jackson White by the end of summer. Do you understand me? Why? I demanded harshly. She shook her head. It doesn't matter, she answered. The white boy is a good-looking lad. I'm sure you'll grow to love him. She ended the discussion immediately, and I had no choice but to marry this stranger. When we got back to town, we headed to our family estate that the Whites, our co-founding family, were looking after during our absence. Jackson was nowhere to be found, so I met the rest of the White family. They seemed nice enough, but I never understood why my parents didn't let us be around them growing up. We rarely ever visited the town growing up, and now that I was 18 and ready to be married, apparently we're back. I screwed up my nose at that thought. I was so not ready to get married. Mr. White showed me my bedroom, which was conveniently right next to Jackson's room. I was lying in bed when I heard thumping in the room next door. I haven't heard noise from his room all evening, but now that it was nearly 2 in the morning, I heard something. It sounded like an intruder. I rolled out of bed, grabbed my baseball bat, and barged into Jackson's room, swiping at the dark shadow near the closet. The shadow yelped and ducked, falling on the floor. He quickly pulled his hood back, and I recognized him from the photos hanging up on the walls. This was Jackson. He saw me and immediately groaned. "You're the one I'm supposed to marry? At least you aren't ugly," he muttered. I gasped and stared at him in shock. "What is your problem?" I demanded. "You," he snarled. "The fact that I have to be stuck with you for the rest of my life." He screwed up his nose in disgust. I scoffed. "Trust me, I'm not thrilled either," I snapped. I went to bed angry that night. Something about Jackson just got under my skin. Over the next few days, I noticed how little I saw Jackson. So one day, I followed him and found him partying at his friend's house with another girl. He had his arm around the girl's shoulder and was laughing at something his friend said. He looked so happy and carefree. Then he turned and kissed the girl. Who was she? No way was I going to marry someone who was in love with someone else. I had to figure out the truth about this tradition. I knew someone who couldn't keep a secret at all. I called my cousin, April. She was the family gossip. If you needed tea on anyone, she was the one to call. She answered on the third ring. "How's the wedding preparations going?" she asked immediately. I got straight to the point. "What do you know about this tradition?" I asked. "Oh, it's legally binding," April said. "Did your parents not tell you about it? You don't have to get married if you don't want to. The families have that tradition to keep the money in the families. If you don't get married to Jackson, then your inheritance goes bye-bye." My jaw dropped and my eyes widened as I paled. That can't be true. This was all about money. "Is the contract legally binding forever?" I whispered to April. She hummed. "Yes, divorce is not an option here," she answered after a moment. I thanked her and hung up the phone. I was pissed at our ancestors for coming up with the dumbest tradition known to man. After telling Jackson the truth about it, we came up with a plan. I wasn't about to trap Jackson in a loveless marriage. He was obviously in love with someone else. I wasn't going to get in the way of that. We sat our families down and told the truth to everyone. A lot of people were upset that the whole story wasn't told to them before, but our parents were furious when we told them we weren't getting married. Mom started screaming at Jackson's mom. Our dads were close to starting a fist fight. Everyone was going at each other's throats. And Jackson and I just calmly walked out of the house as if we didn't just start a war with our parents.